I had a big family growing up. I was one of 9 children. My parents worked very hard. We started out living in the projects, and my dad wanted us to get out of the projects, and so did my mom. So my dad went to school at night, and he became a social worker eventually. My mom became a secretary for the public school system. And I remember the look on my dad's face when we were able to move out of the projects. We moved into our house, and it wasn't, a big house, but it was out of the projects. He was so excited. We moved into that house. That really instilled in me that if you work hard at something, good things usually happen. I was fortunate that most of us, if not all of us, had the opportunity to go to college. And I knew when I went to college that I wanted to go to law school. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to contribute to society in a positive way. And so it seems like that the law was something I should consider. I remember sitting in one of my classes one time, and one of my professors said, "Gerald, have you thought about going into the law?" That really got me thinking, and so I did some research, and I decided this is something I wanted to do. So I went to law school, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed every bit of it. Most people think that's kind of strange, but it was so new to me. It opened up a whole new avenue of possibilities for me. And I remember graduating from law school, and I ended up getting a job with a large firm downtown Ice Miller, very, very good firm. And I enjoyed working there. I enjoyed the opportunity, the experience, but I felt there was something more that I wanted to do with my law degree. And so I ended up going into public service. I ended up taking a job as a director of risk management for the Indiana State Department of Health. And that job totally changed my thinking. I took the job reluctantly. I was working previously, obviously, in the private sector, and I thought I would stay in the law firm. I thought I would stay in the private sector, but something told me this might be a good thing for me to do. So I was reluctant, but I went and I took this job as a director of risk management. And it was amazing, because what I recognized right away was that in this position, I had the opportunity to do so many good things. And it was a policy position, so I had a chance to make policy decisions that would impact people in a significant way. And I learned that individuals in public service have the opportunity to do a lot of good or a lot of bad. Here I was in this policy position, a new position for me. I wasn't doing the traditional law practice, but I was doing something very significant in that it had so much impact on people. And I realized right away that when you have that much power and that much discretion, you must also have an equal amount of humility. And to me, that's the principle that should govern anybody in a position of power and authority. And I learned that when I was in that position. It sort of became addicting in a sense, because I saw all the good things that I could do. At the same time, I also saw the impact that my decisions had on the public as a whole. And I learned a very, very important lesson in that particular job, was that, when you're in a position of power, it is a position of privilege. It's not a right to be there. And so that's why I think that one of the most important things for me in running for this office of Wayne County Small Claims Judge is my past and my experience. Some people ask me, "Gerald, why do you want to be a judge?" I could talk about my 20 plus years experience being a lawyer. I could talk about the fact that I worked in 3 different administrations, and the fact that the governor appointed me a commissioner of Bureau of Motor Vehicles. I could also talk about the awards that I've received. But none of that really qualifies me to be a judge. I think what really qualifies me is the principle that I learned early on, that I mentioned previously, is that anybody in a position of authority must be humble. And anybody who has the opportunity to exercise power must exercise that power with the principle and by the principle of humility. And I think I learned that principle early on, and I think it's that principle that has guided me. And I think that because of that, that would qualify me, and it would help me to be a very, very effective judge, because really, ultimately, a judge is a server of the people. A judge is a servant, and you serve the people. And if you're going to serve the people, you must be humble when you serve the people. You must recognize there that you are there to serve. You're there to help. And I think that that's what has inspired me to be a judge today, is that I want to serve. I want to help. And I hope that I would be humble in that particular position, because I do understand that humility and power must go together. I remember when I first opened up my law office back in 2005, right downtown in Indianapolis. Such an exciting time. And we had no idea if we were going to be successful. We took a chance, took a risk. But I had learned many years before that hard work always pays off. And so we decided to take the plunge. And we opened up the law practice, and first 2-3 weeks the phones were not ringing. And we were kind of scared. We're asking ourselves, boy, did we do the right thing, make the right decision? But about 4 weeks or so later, the phone rang, and I remember we got our first client, and the firm just grew from there. Past 9 years, I've had my own law firm, Coleman, and it's been great growing the firm. We've added attorneys. Hard work pays off. And about 8 years into my practice, I began to think, well, Gerald, remember years ago that you said you wanted to be a judge. Maybe this is about the time to do it. Well, I thought about it long and hard. I prayed about it, and I decided this was the time to do it. And so I decided to make myself a candidate for Wayne Township Small Claims Court. They call it Small Claims Court, but these claims are not small to these individuals. The small claims courts are limited by the amount of claim. It has to be a certain amount of money to make it in that claim, to make it in that court. But the amount of money does not make the claim a small claim. To these individuals who bring those claims are large. They mean something to those people. And so those claims must be handled with the same sensitivity, the same thoroughness as the claims in any court. And I think that's very essential, very important. When my clients come into my office, and I represent all kinds of clients, large businesses, small businesses, and individuals. And I want people to know that when they come into my office that right now the attention's all on them, that what they have to say is very important to me. And that's how I run my practice. And I believe that that's a very important principle, to take people as they are, to hear them out and listen to them. And that's exactly the kind of judge I want to be. I want to be a judge who will listen to what you have to say. And I also want to be the kind of judge who will be fair and who will render the right decision. You may not agree with it. I fully understand that, but I want you to believe that you had your day in court and that I heard you. I heard your case, and that I was fair. That's the kind of judge I want to be. And again, my name is Gerald Coleman, and I want you to vote for me for Wayne Township Small Claims Judge. Thank you for listening to me today.